okachipodcast.com. We're gonna chat it up with our friend Aaron.
Yeah,
What's up?
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Well, if I was that good, I think I have a little bit more money in the bank.
He used to be a professional wrestler.
I did.
What?
I did.
What was your name, your stage name, if you had one?
Ray Davis.
Ray Davis.
Ray Davis. Yeah, I was with Maryland Championship Wrestling for about a year and a half, almost
that's
2 years,
cool, man.
pretty much. And then I transitioned over and used my regular name, my real name, Aaron Ray. And it was a heck of an experience. I got to tell you that. That was fun. It's a lot of traveling, a lot of work, but it was fun. And the reasons behind it for me was it was good. You know, I really wanted to reach like kids and have like a really huge impact, give them something to go forward to and reach into. Because, I mean, when you're a kid, you always try to look for people, right? You always look for something besides your parents.
Yeah.
That you want to be like, or something that you want to do. So I wanted to use my influence on that to see, oh my God, he's a wrestler, he's doing this. And then you come back and behind the scenes, he's this guy I can actually connect with and he can guide me down the right path. So that was my goal.
Did you always wanted to become a wrestler, or was it like a parent saying, you gotta do this? Yeah, you go there.
It was more of that.
Yeah.
But originally I always wanted to play in the NFL, right? And when you go to high school, sometimes they forget to tell you that you got to have good grades to keep playing.
Yeah.
So that was my downfall. So then my senior year comes around, and I'm doing Nike combines, right? And I'm going to play high school ball. I'm playing against guys, and I skip class a week before prom, right? Just to go in the gym to go play ball. You're a senior. You're about to graduate. You have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a scout to let me go, JUCO, bring up my grades, go to a college to go play football. So when I skip, long story short, I get in the gym and we're playing basketball. I go up for a rebound. And one of my good buddies, accidentally, when I'm coming down, hits me in my knee. And I tear my ACL and my meniscus completely. So they snatch my scholarship. They snatch everything. And and I can tell you now, older, I cried. Like, I just cried because they just took everything from me.
Right.
So fast forward a couple years later, I get my surgery, right? And I'm back. I'm playing again. I ended up playing semi-pro for about a year, and that was fun. But I had a new passion, right? I always watched wrestling when I was little. So that passion following is like that information highway, that internet. You always want to know how you could do it. But back in the day, you didn't have the internet, so you didn't know. Like, you didn't know what you could do. But then I just started thinking, like, man, let me just get on here and see if I can just find something local. So it's out in Joppa. It's called Maryland Championship Wrestling. And I went up there for 2 visits. Second visit, I signed me up. And I ended up wrestling for about 2 years.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Can you make a living? Can you make a good living doing that at that level, perhaps? I don't know.
At that living, you can make pretty much, if you put in the work, you can make a living. Right? I mean, you do have to establish your name. You got to work hard. It's no joke. I mean, 13 years of football, 8 years of basketball, and 3 years of soccer. And I'm telling you today, it has nothing on the training that you have to do for wrestling.
Wow.
Nothing. It has nothing on it. So, I mean, once you actually get through it and you do what you got to do, pretty much pay your dues, and put in that hard grind. Everybody that you see, whether it be on the amateur circuit or mainstream, that right there, big homage, like big ups to them. They that is work, and you get to meet stars. Like, a lot of them are just down to earth guys. You wouldn't think so, but they're really down to earth guys. Like, they're not. A lot of them are not big headed. They'll come and talk to you, tell you what you need to do, critique you, help you out. But if you really want to make it to the top, you're putting in some work, And I'll put it to you like this, to answer that. I would make not gonna tell you the exact amount, but not too much. Like a show under 100, a show under 100, and I'm like a ground guy, right? It's what they call green, brand new in the business. I'm nothing pretty much, and I'm working as far as Friday, Saturday, Sunday, constantly. Sometimes even 2 shows a day in a weekend. And I'm not talking about, oh, you're just in Maryland. No, you're going to Virginia, you're going to West Virginia, you're going to North Carolina, South Carolina, up to Pennsylvania. You're constantly moving, right? So if you really want to work, you pay your dues, you can do it. Yeah, you can learn it. You can earn a living off that.
And it's something that you like doing. I mean, you're having fun. It's
Right.
not like you're like, oh, I gotta go.
I gotta go to work tomorrow. Oh my god! No.
I gotta go beat some guys tomorrow.
Exactly, exactly. For me, it was more. The kids. Like I said, the
that's
kids.
good, man.
Also having a daughter, right? You want to be an influence. So with her not around, you find influence in those kids that show up to those events. And even when you're not, you got your good side and your bad side. But when you're doing your thing, when you're on that stage, as I call it, and they're looking at you, even though they're booing or cheering you, you got to realize sometimes you're taking away whatever struggle that they have going on at home, and where they are right now watching you in a show. That's all they care about, right? The best thing that happened to me at a birthday party, right? I worked a birthday party one day. Being somebody that's name hasn't ever really been recognized, right? Because I'm not some big name, obviously. But to have 25 kids just run up to you and ask you for an autograph
Yeah.
out of nowhere just because you changed their day, right? And then they come back again and they know exactly who you are.
Yeah.
What more can you
Wow.
ask for?
So you were
That's
one
more,
of the.
more valuable than the actual paycheck. So I feel the same
Exactly.
way with the music. Some gigs they don't pay that much, but when you have somebody sort of singing your song,
Exactly.
it's to me it's more valuable than the paycheck that I'm about to get.
Exactly. It's I would say an ego boost, but a good one.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
you're not big headed about it. It's more about, man, I'm somebody that somebody looks up to.
Sure.
Right? I'm a positive influence. Now what you do with that is whether you make it positive or not is on you. Right? Because once they see you, they're gonna do what you do, they're gonna act like you act, they're gonna say what you say. And it's different when it's on screen and when you're off the camera. Right? So that's where you gotta find your difference right there. But that was the main thing. Having kids look up to you and really appreciate who you are. Just that I really can't even. It's hard to put into words.
Yeah.
Like that did everything for me.
So what made you stop?
Like I said, mentioning my daughter, that was it. I mean, you're in a constant grind at that time. Because when you work that circuit, realize that because a lot of money's not coming in, you're not making a lot of money early. You're not earning a living, right? You got to pay your dues. So at that time, I'm working for a construction company, and I'm working for a casino, and I'm wrestling. So in a 7-day week, I may see my daughter for like a day or two, maybe a day, if that.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people don't realize that the guys that are on TV, they don't see their family at all for like 3 to 6 months
Yeah.
at least, right? And for me, and working just a regular circuit and working 2 jobs, trying to do what I have to do, I was seeing her for a day, if that. And then in that day, you got to realize I may be off a day from that one job, but I'm working another job. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have training. And to get to training was an hour and 40-minute drive to go north of Baltimore and then come all the way back to Southern Maryland.
Damn.
So you're constantly doing that. And then, like, I took a hiatus for about 4 months and came back. And they were gracious enough to allow me to come back, right? But that constant grind, especially with everything that was going on in my life at that time, I was not willing to personally, as much as I want to be an influence to other kids all around of everywhere, the most important kid was at home, right? Yeah. My daughter was at home, and she needed me there, you know. So that's what made me kind of step away for a while. Yeah.
Get your priorities straight, man. We should mention that we're not gonna sing. Well, you should sing because you have a good voice. But today is Aaron's 28th birthday. You're still a little baby.
A little bit. Only in age numbers. You know?
It's true. It's true. I mean, I would have never guessed if you hadn't told me how old you were. I would have never ever guessed because you're very mature. You have your priorities straight, especially with your kid. Good for you.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I do got to say, with this guy, right? As many talks as we've had, like off air, right? It was good. It's always been good to connect with somebody that they may not understand exactly where you come from, but they're willing to listen, right? And then share their experience as well. Because I feel that, especially of us being of different, right, of ethnicities, pretty much.
I'm black and he's Latin, by the way.
Yeah,
Brown.
But yeah. This guy's he's I don't know, me. Oh. But to sit down, I can't tell you guys how many conversations, right, that we've just sat and had. And it's always informative and you always learn something new. I think that's the key to meeting people and that's the key to understanding each other, right? If we can't have constant conversation if every time you're trying to talk, I'm trying to talk to get my viewpoint across, right? Without me listening to what you're talking about in the first place. It's so awesome. And even meeting Ron, right? Like you started talking. And honestly, I just kind of sat back and I listened. And then here we are talking and it's just a good vibe. It's only because you guys are open to listening, right? And I'm open to listening to you to where we learn about each other. And I think that's the key to honestly coming together and understanding in full circle each other, right? Because no matter where the background you come from, you can understand another person as long as you're open-minded and you have an open heart.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Those are the two keys, in my opinion. If you do those two things, the differences become so minute that you realize you can talk to anyone about anything.
Exactly.
Because you're just opening. And you come to realize that we have a lot more in common than not in common. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the realization that I came up with when I was very young. And you're very aware of things like that. And I'm telling you, you're ahead of the game in a way. You know, it's a good thing. It's a really good thing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I try to learn though. Right? So the only way you can learn and get better is you've been down tracks, and that's why I ask you a lot of times, what did you do when you handled this? Or if you would go through this? You can give me things. Yeah. Ron, I'll be asking you a lot of stuff. So don't think you're out of this. You're going to get a lot of questions from me, my guy.
And I got some answers. If I don't know them, I'll make it up.
It's true, he will.
Yeah, I make stuff up, man. But you'll get to know me.
I'm loving
deal
it,
with that later.
Yeah, definitely.
It is about talking. It's about I think listening is one of the most underappreciated skills. Mm-hmm. Just being able to but you hit it right on the head. Listen with an open heart, an open mind. A lot of the differences will go away. We live in a world that is very divided. People either red or they're blue, and it's okay to talk about everything.
And I think that's only because people are grown up to be close-minded.
Right.
As soon as people start opening their minds and see how easy it is to just let him tell us his story, right. It makes us already close. If only people will be a little bit more open and listen to what somebody who they don't know how to say, maybe they will just get along.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
Right. I think part of that, though, like in upbringing, if we think about it, I think part of that goes to, sometimes somebody will say, like, think about a kid growing up, right? Think about a kid growing up. You'll tell him or her right from wrong, right? But what happens when, if, let's just use the word Johnny. Let's say Johnny drops his cup walking down the hallway on accident, right? And we tell him, hey, Johnny, don't do that. You know, you do it again, I'm going to whoop you. Rather than saying, hey, Johnny, did you drop that on purpose or was it an accident? And then explaining to him, because he's too young. He's a kid. He doesn't get it, right? Once you show the way you articulate your discipline is basically how you're going to upbring, you know, the next generation. So the fact that you guys are open-minded, right? And well, all of us here, we're open-minded and we have an open heart to understand. It's really a tribute to our parents, saying that I want you to do right, but at the same time, I want you to think so you know what's right from wrong. Yeah. You know, you're instilling that thinking ability and an analyzation type of mindset from the beginning. Little known story, if you don't mind me saying it real quick. Being African American, a lot of stigma goes around. We all know that, right? From different ethnicities and cultures and backgrounds. There's a stereotype for everybody. I went to an all predominantly Caucasian school until the age of 14. Right?
Okay.
In Indiana. Wow. Of all places.
Yeah.
So right there, if I say that, a lot of people think, oh man, you know, racism, segregation, anything, prejudice. And honestly, of the other race, I was more accepted than my own from Caucasians.
Only in there, though.
Not just in there.
That school?
Everywhere. Well, everywhere. But definitely in that school, right? Like, not once was I ever called the N-word. Not once was I ever, like, pushed away or felt less than, right? It was when I would come home, because maybe I didn't live in the best of homes like everybody else, right? At that school. But it was when I come home to my own culture and people in my neighborhood where they're like, oh, you're a sellout. You're this, you're that. It's like, you think you're better than everybody. How? My parents tried to send me to a good school, so I'm culturized.
Right.
So I know different people. I went to school with Asians, right? Hispanic.
There's nothing wrong with trying to educate yourself. You know, it happened to me.
Yeah.
Same thing. I even had to leave that school. I told my mom, hey, we got to leave this school. Hispanic guys are trying to tell me I need to join the gang, or they are not going to be responsible if they see somebody beat me up. And hey, look at me. I'm not strong.
You're not buff.
I look like a little ant.
Oh yeah, you're not that small.
So okay, I was a little scared. I've never fought in my life, so we moved to Falls Church. The very first thing I did was join the choir, where there was no Hispanic people there, and I felt welcome there. And then, you know, in that school, I sort of had a little bit of jealousy from my Hispanic, friends that were like, "Hey, well, why are you speaking in English, man?" You know.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't know any English at all, so I was just trying to learn, you know. And you know, a lot of people don't understand that sometimes you just want to learn stuff, you know.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean I didn't want to be Hispanic or Latino, you know. I just really proud. And you know me, and I still know the national anthem from El Salvador. You know, I still know. I'm very into my country, you know. But
What is that?
that was you?
It's that business I was working on, man. Sorry. Business. Sorry about that.
Oh no, it'll edit out. But yeah, so yeah, we all have sort of same stories there too. So
I mean, I think any time that you are brave enough, and I emphasize the word brave enough because the brave ones are the ones that go to an all-Caucasian school. The brave ones are the ones that join a choir and not only get criticized, but and I don't know if this was necessarily the case, but somebody may question your manhood. You're oh my God, and Latin people, are you Latin Salvadorian guys that I grew up with? You're in a choir, oh boy. Mm-hmm. The brave ones are the ones that are going to do things that are unfortunately labeled sellout. I've had family members tell me that they think I'm a sellout just because of the people I associate with, the people that I the things that I do. But one of my favorite scenes from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay.
There was a scene where Will Smith, the Fresh Prince, they went to Carlton's old university. Mm. And Carlton was doing his, the dance, the Carlton dance, right?
Yeah. By the way, this is not the first time he's talked about him in the podcast.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it. Right. So the guys are cool with with Will Smith of the Fresh Prince because he's down, he's gonna sing and dance, do his thing. But they look at Carlton as a sellout, right? So one of the guys keeps telling him, we don't want you here because Carlton's trying to be in this fraternity. And the guys finally go like, man, we're not going to take you in. You're nothing but a sellout. And Carlton's like, wait a minute. I'm a sellout because I want to be a better person, because I want to go to a better school, have a better education. He's like, no. I'm not the sellout. You are, because you're conforming to what people expect you to be like.
Right. The stereotype.
Correct. So people who join the choir, people who go to a school when they are with the ethnicity that they belong to is not represented, those are not the sellouts. Those are the tough ones. Those are the people that have big balls. You gotta be tough to go and live in an environment like that. And no, not only are you gonna struggle with whatever you're going through with the school, with the choir, you're gonna struggle because people are gonna call you a sellout, and that's gonna happen. And you know it. Those are the strong people. So it's time to rethink this sellout thing, because the next time somebody calls me a sellout, I'm gonna punch them in the face.
Oh man!
And I know how to now. Yeah. Or at least smack him.
And if
Open
you can't,
hand.
you can call him.
Yeah.
He'll do it for you.
He will do a move.
There you go. Yeah, I got you back.
I think that if you smack somebody, it's a misdemeanor, but if you punch them, it's a felony.
Is that really? Yeah.
Well, if you knock them out.
Well, what if you are really strong and you smack them and you knock them out? Not that that's me. I'm just saying. I never knew the difference.
I saw a smackdown. Literally, these two ladies were smacking each other.
Yeah.
And this lady just smacked the other lady so hard, the lady just dropped. Boom. Passed out. Because she hit it in the ear.
Yeah.
And the equilibrium went and the senses went.
Yeah.
So you can get knocked out.
Was that a choir practice?
It was a choir practice.
I would imagine it. No, man. I don't. You know what's funny about that? I've been one to never know the difference at times with certain things between like misdemeanors and felonies.
Yeah.
Like hitting people with assault.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I thought assault was, and I'm sure you guys can definitely like relate. We thought assault was normal. Like, if somebody gets in a fight, it's over with, it's done.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if somebody gets in a fight, somebody's probably getting charged for assault.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where did that come from?
And it's usually the guy who didn't start it.
Right. He just finished
it. It's whoever put the hand on the other one first. Yeah.
So
that's what Judge Judy said. Yeah.
Oh, is that what she said? Yeah. Well, Judge Judy has never been in a fight, because if you get hit first, chances are you're gonna be dazed and you're gonna get knocked out.
It's true.
So you don't want to be the second person to hit. This Jesus turned the other cheek thing, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I think he meant that in a different way.
Oh, okay.
I really do.
So Jesus was not literally going that, like throwing down.
I don't think it was more of a slap me and then I'll turn the other cheek. And then they would just slap the other cheek too. So I think it's just I think it was if the person messed up and they didn't get it, then give them another chance. Yeah. Because if you slap me, fear the man upstairs, but
Yeah.
if you slap me, I'm probably gonna slap you back.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no problem. I'm gonna slap you back.
I'm gonna walk away
Okay.
after I punch it in the face.
Yeah,
Was the school that you went to a
Yeah.
Catholic school?
it was.
Uh-huh.
It was.
They made you pray and everything every day?
For me to remember, honestly, I don't think it was every day. Like you've got religion class, but it wasn't every single day. I think it was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, something like that. And then we had Wednesday service during the week, and then we, of course, Friday service and Sunday service. But it was besides religion, the class, they would educate you on it, but it was more so they were just very strict about education. Like they wanted you to learn. Like, and I don't know because I can only speak from the one I went to. Right, it was two that I went to, Saint Simon and Saint Lawrence, and they're very forward on trying to push you, right, and learn as much as you can. But a lot of times it wasn't really just religion. They were really big in history, which was surprising now that I think back on it. They were big in history, trying to figure out why people were the way they were, why certain wars happened, African American history. And I was at a predominantly Caucasian school, and they're talking about African American history like it was the most important thing to know, right? They talked about some things being south of the border, like Central America, a little bit, mostly in like the Mexico area, a little bit of like Brazil and all that, and maybe a lot in Africa, of course. But it wasn't really so much. They would talk about religion, but it was more about history. Now that I think about it, it was more history that they were talking about, and every lesson was about unifying. That's what I know. It's a big difference. Like I don't know how it is in Catholic schools these days, but I have like my daughter. She goes to Catholic school, and they kind of do the same thing. From when I talk to the teachers and stuff like that, it's about unifying. And that's what I find interesting because if you talk to a random person or if you go about your business in a different way, as far as just meeting people, it's complete opposite. It's not about unifying. It's about separating. This people should be this people and they should be with them and they should be with them. But in school, all I was taught was everybody's together. And I think, like even you, meeting you real quick, it was like instance. Like, let's just talk. What's up?
Yeah.
Right? And then we just started vibing. Same thing when we met. We just started vibing because that's what I'm used to. That's what I was brought up on. So not only was it in school, it came from my parents too.
Right.
Right? So my mom's a teacher. She's in public school. But and that's just a whole different story. They're just crazy out there. Yeah. but she was a teacher, so that was another thing. My dad was in the military. He served in the Navy. So when you think about those two professions, it was all about unifying. No matter what you do, you got to come together to get the job done.
Right.
So even losing him at an early age, that's why I give my mom so much credit. I lost him when I was 11. So
In the war?
No. He served during the terms of Nixon, so Nam and all that. Mm-hmm. So I lost him when I was 11 because he had cancer. Yeah, he had a rare form of cancer, and he passed away early. But even at side note, even at age 8, like I can remember working early at 5 and 6 years old. But at age of 8, he started having conversations like the ones we're starting to have right now at 8 years old when I was 8. And I'm just thinking man, if he was still here, it's making sense now. He was trying to instill in me early. Yeah. Don't look at color. I don't care about color. Don't come to me about color. Don't come to me about race. It's all about one thing. And when I start to look back at his close buddies, they were from all walks of life. Yeah. I mean, from privilege to nothing at all that built themselves up. They were from all walks of life, right? So I look at it as I had 3 years of him from 8 to 11 of the knowledge that he was trying to drop on me. And it was also correlated into going to a school that's telling me unify. He's telling me unify. My mother's telling me unify, right? And then naturally just comes off, I don't see anything but just unification, right? Like, I mean, we talk all the time. That's why my sarcasm, a lot of people that don't get it, it's just like, in my opinion, my sarcasm, the way I'm so laid back, is just because I don't see the separation that certain people want. You know what I mean? And not just America, but all over the world. People want separation and segregation for things, but they fail to realize that if you unify and we help each other out, we're good because we're all from different walks of life.
Yeah.
I mean, you draw it up. Like, a guy from Indiana is going to meet a guy from El Salvador, another guy, and we're going to sit and we're going to definitely have a great conversation and some heart-to-hearts, to be honest, and really have an intellectual conversation, different age, and it's going to move forward, and it's all going to be informative and positive, and people are going to draw from it. You draw that up, but it just happened.
Yeah.
And what I see is the similarities that even though we're both, like he grew up, even though we grew up in El Salvador,
Right.
total different
Country.
the other side
Yeah.
of the place. You're in Indiana, and then I can relate to the stories
Exactly.
that you tell, and so I can relate to his story as well.
Yeah. We have more in common no matter where we're from than we think. Ultimately, we want happiness, we want love, we want our families to be well, we want to own a French bulldog.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think that's just
it's
me. I like dogs.
It's definitely a dog is in there.
Yeah.
Dog is in there. 'Cause I got a dog.
That's
Yeah,
right. So
yeah.
we
Same.
See?
we want the same thing. That's all we want. We want to live in peace. And if we concentrated in helping each other to have those simple things, you imagine how much peaceful this world would be, man.
Exactly.
We'd be chilling.
And it's all about opening your mind a little, man.
Yeah.
Just, we're all humans
Right.
in this world that it's ours, man, and let's not divide ourselves.
Right.
Man. Let's unify ourselves.
That's right. That is what it's all about. That is like Bob Marley said, one love.
And you know, you said I was about to say Michael Jackson. We are the world. You know,
Yeah.
because it was everybody, right?
Yeah.
And you're right. It's unification. I don't know. And the funniest part about it is, you know, like you said, I'm 28. How is it that I can relate to you, right? How can I relate to you? It's not just the age difference in the upbringing, but it's the fact that it was instilled in me, open heart, open mind,
Yes.
like we talked about.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
you cannot think just your way and think that you're going to make a positive influence, and not even just make a positive influence, meet great people. Like, you guys are great guys. So how can I ever get around people who think positive, who want to be better? Like, forget the mistakes of yesterday. Let's just move forward. Like, you know, not saying that, okay, I'm going to make a mistake today and tomorrow it's all over. I'm not going to worry about it, right? But okay, I made a mistake. I've had my flaws. I've done my things. Now it's time to share with others so they do not make the same mistakes I did. Like, you're trying to be positive. You want to be positive.
Yeah.
And you're doing it from different walks of life, and here we are today, right? That's just how I see it. Everybody's got greatness. They just choose whether they want it to come out or they choose whether they want to keep it.
I'm noticing, too, that a lot of people are like-minded are getting together. I'll give you a good example. Our buddy Tim, who we're gonna have a show with,
Cool.
Him and his partner created davidkwang.com. Here's another shout out to his company again, www.davidquang.com. And what they're also trying to do, besides they have this,
You even made it into a song.
yeah, sounds pretty good, right?
He's on the keys.
Yeah.
guys.
Should
He's
have
on the
told me
keys.
next time. I would have been like,
You know what, man? I don't need to know how to play an instrument. This is my instrument right here.
See, he's going to sing. We're going to play the drums. You're going to do the rest.
Yeah, no. If anyone's gonna be singing, it's gonna be Ron. Trust me, he's good. But what he's trying to do is create a community of people that are starting small businesses, but small businesses that are creating positive change in the world. Not only businesses, but people who have new ideas that bring together what you're describing, this togetherness instead of separating. So soon we're gonna do a show just about that, and hopefully we'll have Tim again to tell us about it a little bit. His girlfriend, Bea, and maybe you can come over too, because this is what it's about having people who are about positive things, about inclusivity, about creating the type of world that we want to see. And those are the people that we need to be close to, and be around. And when you meet Tim, you'll know his energy is unbelievably positive. And he just makes it better. It makes it better for everybody. And he's open. We're open. And this is the kind of conversation we want to have in this show. This is what this show is about.
Exactly.
Right?
This conversation here is all about like putting that little positive seed into the future.
Atmosphere.
It may not make a big difference now, but maybe it'll make enough to keep it growing and eventually, that's probably what's gonna save the world. Just
Exactly.
See, if what he just said, like I would love to touch on. A lot of people don't have that type of, and this is key, and I've been learning this, belief level. The belief level. Like he just said, eventually we'll change the world. Yes.
Right.
But a lot of people don't have that belief level. Oh, it doesn't matter what I say. And
that's the worst thing that we can do, especially right now. We're in a just realized that Milner is recording something. Maybe us. Don't say anything bad about Lindy.
Candid
Hi,
camera.
Lindy. How are you? A lot of us are just sitting idle and saying, well, what is my voice going to do?
right.
Well, your voice can do a lot. As a matter of fact, if you want your ideas to be heard, get in touch with us. We'll let you talk. We'll let you talk to us. We'll let you say what you want to say, as long as what you want to do is create a better world than you found.
Right.
Just call us. www.okachipodcast.com. We'll talk to you. We'll sit with you. Share your thoughts. This is what it's about. Okachi Podcast, man.
Hey, man, I love this podcast. I'm not even going to lie.
Tell us what you want to hear. Just drop us a line.
thanks to Cherada Tours, which is one of the biggest sponsors that we've got. So
That is correct. www.cheradatours.com. If you're going to travel with your church, if you're going to travel with your school, give us a shout. We are happy to assist you finding lodging wherever you go in Canada, U.S., Mexico, and Latin America. That's www.cheradatours.com. That's spelled CHERADA tours.com.